Georgia starts out the season 1-0 after beating UT Martin 48-7, but somehow our Georgia beat writer Chip Towers, there are still complaints to be had, of course, because that's how sky high the expectations are here in Athens. What did you make of this game overall, proportionate to what you were expecting?
Yeah, there will be grousing for sure, and you look up at the final score, it's 48-7, and you're kind of surprised by it. A lot of crazy stuff kind of happened toward the end of the game, both with UT Martin scoring and Georgia getting a couple of late scores there, late field goal. But at the end of the day, it really unimportant. First games are what they are. There's a lot of reasons for it. A lot of players didn't play. A lot of players were playing the first game. It's kind of amazing when you look at it. There are 5 new starters on offense, 3 new starters on defense. So a lot of new guys, guys like Carson Beck playing for the first time ever. There's going to be some jitters involved no matter who you play.
Let's talk about some of those injuries and guys missing, like you were pointing out. Ladd McConkey was out with a back injury, Kirby Smart said. Marcus Rosemy-Jack-Saint was out too, discipline reasons. So you're down 2 of your top receivers right there. Mekhi Muse steps up.
Yeah, you had all new starters in the wide receiver core. I'm not counting Brock Bowers there. He's at tight end. You could count him as anything, running back, whatever. Kendall Milton gets the start. Dejon Edwards could not go in the backfield. And, you had 2 new tackles starting as well, So, there was a lot of newness going on the offense, and that showed early on. Georgia was up 17-0 in the first half. Very easily could have been 24, possibly 31 if a couple of things shake out a little bit differently. But talking to Carson afterward, he said, yeah, I was nervous. He didn't feel like he played nervous necessarily, but you got to think, this guy's been waiting 4 years to get on the field, and he finally does. And, magnify that by a lot of guys. Ladd McConkey probably could have played. Dejon Edwards probably could have played. But Georgia's benefiting greatly from the way this schedule is set up. They don't have to rush guys to the field, and they're building depth at the same time.
Let's talk about the ground game.
Yeah.
What did you see tonight from this running back court?
Yeah, didn't see much, especially early. And that was disappointing. I think when you just look at the size of the 2 lines, you're talking about an FCS team. You're talking about the middle of Georgia's line in particular. When you're talking about Xavier Truss, Cedric Van Pran, and Tate Ratledge, those guys average 6'5", 335 pounds. Truss is just huge. So you think you're going to be able to move anybody, especially an FCS team. But as is always the case in really most college athletics, if you're determined to stop the run, you should have some success doing it. It's a numbers game, and that's kind of what the Skyhawks were doing, did a pretty good job of it. I think Georgia settled down and did a better job of it as the game went on. But I would, if I'm grading that, and I probably will be later in the paper,
Check AJC.com.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a very average C grade.
Give me your biggest takeaway from this week 1 matchup for Georgia. Is it just week 1 jitters, you chalk it up to that, and then you just move on because a win's a win? Well,
I keep talking about newness. So much is new. We were sitting here, y'all were running around all over the place like I was, checking out the new improvements to the south side of the stadium. You had a new UGA. Everything was new. So that's what it felt like to me. So I give them a little bit of a break on that. But overall, my takeaway was Georgia's got a lot of good players out there still, and there are a lot of young players. I don't think most people realize this is a sophomore-oriented team. There's a bunch of sophomores on this team they're going to play. Georgia's gotten young. You send 25 players to the NFL draft the last 2 years, you're going to be young. But these are great players, and you saw some of them today. C.J. Smith played great. The redshirt freshman walk-on, Mekhi Muse. What an exciting player. So these guys are all, they've been biding their time, and they're wanting to show their stuff. And we're going to see that. We saw that tonight. We're going to see it again next week against Ball State.
Well, we'll just have to keep an eye on how Georgia matures and grows throughout this season. Chip, thanks so much for joining me. Thanks to all of you for watching. Make sure you go to AJC.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel to find more videos just like this one.